He's known as Dr. Deer, and he's been hired to review the way Wisconsin manages the deer herd.
So with this year's gun hunt just 3 days away, who is this James Kroll from Texas? And what will the state's new Deer Czar do to evaluate the state's herd? Fox 11 on special assignment, digging deeper into the new white-tailed deer trustee. Here's Robert Hornacek.
There's a lot at stake when it comes to deer hunting in Wisconsin. After all, it's a tradition that adds more than $1 billion to the state's economy every year.
I just don't get it. I mean, there is no logic here.
In response to the growing discontent among hunters over things like earn-a-buck and chronic wasting disease and other issues, the state is moving in a new direction. Instead of the often faceless and bureaucratic Department of Natural Resources reviewing the state's deer herd, the job will be done by this man.
It's time for a change. It's time for a new way to look at deer management.
Professor James Kroll, a.k.a. Dr. Deer, and Wisconsin's Deer Czar.
And I don't like the term Deer Czar because look what happened to all the czars. You know, I'm not a czar, I'm a trustee, and I take that very seriously.
Last month, the 65-year-old deer researcher from Texas was named Wisconsin's white-tailed deer trustee. He calls it the biggest honor of his career.
I'm a maverick, and I enjoy that position, and that's what we need right now.
Kroll is not your average deer biologist. He has his own TV show.
Most of us hunters have been busted one time or another by a whitetail.
Kroll can be seen fielding questions on North American Whitetail Television and the Sportsman's Channel. He's written hundreds of magazine articles. But he does have an academic side. Kroll is a professor of forest wildlife and the director of the Institute for White-tailed Deer Management and Research at Stephen F. Austin University in Nacogdoches, Texas. He spent decades studying deer biology, wildlife management, and habitat. His job in Wisconsin is fourfold. Review the way the DNR estimates the size of the deer herd, review the programs used to control the herd, and Kroll will also look at how the department is battling CWD and how it's handling the impact of wolves. Above all, Kroll says he wants to make sure hunters and landowners feel like they're part of the process.
Over the last 2 decades across the nation, agencies have kind of come to a point where they've excluded public, and we want to reconnect the people with the process because that's what we're here for, is for the people.
To do that, Kroll has teamed up with 2 prominent researchers.
I put together the A-team.
His team includes Gary Alt, a former deer manager who spent 27 years with the Pennsylvania Game Commission, and Dave Gwynn, a retired professor from Clemson University and a member of the National Board of Directors for the Quality Deer Management Association.
Wisconsin is the birthplace of wildlife management. This is the place where it all started. My goal is to make it the birthplace of 21st century deer management.
So what will this cost taxpayers? It's a one-time cost of about $120,000. $50,000 of that will go to Kroll for professional services. Another $50,000 will be split by his team. $10,000 is set aside for travel expenses. Another $10,000 will be used for clerical support and other labor. Tom Hauge is the director of wildlife management for the DNR. He says Kroll is just the latest outsider to review the agency's work. The last study was done in 2006, when a group of leading scientists concluded that Wisconsin has the most comprehensive and transparent deer management program in the country. Hauge says he's not concerned with this latest review.
If this would have been the very first review, perhaps, that our deer management program had gone through, yeah, I would anticipate that we would have, our nerves would be a little bit more on edge. But the fact of the matter is we've been through this quite a few times, and with each iteration, we learn some things, you know, that will help us improve our management delivery, and that's what we hope will be the outcome for this one.
But according to Patrick Durkin, a freelance writer who covers the outdoors, this review is different.
I can't believe that the DNR people feel good about this. This is a tremendous slap to the Wisconsin DNR. And
Republican Governor Scott Walker created the Deer Czar position. Is his appointment a sign that the DNR was not properly managing the herd?
No, I think what it is more than anything is there's a lot of concern about some things that the DNR could control potentially, but other things like the wolf population that are more at the federal level, and really wanting to have a fundamentally independent review of what's at stake here, and then recommendations on what we do to improve that.
Hunters give the whole idea mixed reviews. Andy Puntzliff is with the United Sportsmen of Wisconsin.
the DNR's brought this upon themselves by being so locked into their own ideas, and bringing an outside person in
to take a look at the situation is well warranted and in a long time coming.
It's a no-win situation for the DNR. They would have been better off to hire a public relations person than a deer biologist.
Steve Gavard from the Wisconsin Deer Hunters Association questions Kroll's experience, saying it's too focused on private lands, not public lands. Kroll says he's used to criticism.
I have been a biologist that has been out there working, doing things that people need. And instead of spending all my time, and believe me, I have lots of scientific publications, but spending all my time trying to impress the 12 people that read a scientific journal, I have been out with the people, finding out what they need to know and doing their kind of work. And I don't apologize at all for my TV work. That's getting to the people.
Kroll and his team will put together a preliminary report in March. The final report with recommendations will be completed in June. In the meantime, Kroll wants to hear from you. What do you want the future of deer hunting to look like in the state? You can find out how to contact Kroll on our website, fox11online.com. Just scroll down on the home page and click on the Special Assignment tab. There you can also find more of my in-depth interview with Kroll. For Fox 11 on Special Assignment, I'm Robert Hornacek.